Good morning, journal friends. Boy, it's been a while. I don't think I've posted anything on this channel since before Christmas. I just haven't really been journaling, but I have been inspired. I have an idea. I want to be creative today, and I thought I would bring you along with me. I saw I follow a lot of journalists on TikTok, and I saw somebody journaling in a little bitty teeny tiny leather journal, and I fell in love with it. I want one, and I want to create one. I have a whole bunch of leather scraps here. I'm pretty sure I can make a cover with one. It won't be fancy, but if I can even cut out a rectangle and cover a little journal with it, I'm gonna be happy. It might not be fancy, but it'll be one of a kind and it'll be mine. My goal for this little journal, I said this on my regular channel, but I'll go ahead and tell you again here. I have saved drawer upon drawer of a trash stash for my junk journals. I've saved all the way from Thanksgiving, probably Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas. And now here we are past Valentine's Day, and I haven't used any of it. And it's become so overwhelming to me that it's almost become a demand, and I don't want to do it. So for a quick way to get rid of the trash stash and all the things that I've saved, I'm going to make just a little square punch of each thing that I saved that I thought was cute or that it meant something to me. So I've made me a little sample here, a little piece of a snowman paper. My goal is for my journal to be able to hold one of these stamps with some kind of a, however I want to decorate the background. If I want to, maybe I just want to draw a design or paint it or put some decorative paper behind one of these, or I could probably even layer a couple of these like this. So it will kind of serve two purposes. It'll be fun. I've decided honestly that I like making journals even more than I like journaling, which is what you saw all the shorts from at Christmas time. I made so many journals. I gave them as gifts. I sold them at a craft show, all of that, and it was really fun. But as excited as I am to make this journal because I think it'll be fun and let some creative juices flow, I'm very excited to clean out my drawers also so that I can get back into journaling and being crafty without feeling overwhelmed. So what I decided to do, I had bought this at the secondhand store a long time ago. This is ivory fine parchment paper. It's actually printer paper, but it's a lot thicker. I don't see a weight on it. So I was looking, it's 24 pounds. So it's a lot thicker and it's a lot sturdier of paper in general. It kind of almost looks like some kind of a fabric made into paper or something. I don't know how to describe it. Fibers, that's what I'm thinking of, fibers. So I'm going to try to remember what I did for these. I already have several pages cut. I know I started by cutting these in half this way, whatever you call that, width, length, I don't know. So I'm not going to do a whole lot of fancy editing here. I just figured I'd take you along for the ride. I don't even really have a plan. I don't really know exactly what I'm doing, but I'll try to angle this to where you can see the table, and let's go. Let's just do it. If we mess up, we mess up. Who cares? What's the old TikTok saying thing, or on all the shorts and the reels? Who's gonna know? Who's gonna know, right? Who's gonna know if we mess it up? We'll either start over or we'll use it however it comes out. It's gonna be custom, one of a kind. Wow, did I measure that wrong? There we go. We've already messed up. But you know what? I don't care. I'm just going to cut them the same and go for it. I don't care if all of my pages are the same size or not. And actually, you need some that are more narrow towards the middle of the journal anyway. Okay, that is what I did. And then I'm pretty sure I cut it this way, maybe, and then cut those in half. I'm not sure. Let's just give it a whirl. Let's just use this as a guide. Let's cut one here. Can you see what I'm doing? Cut one here. And then this should potentially be just enough for two more. One here. That's a little wider. I don't really know what I did before, but you know what? We'll make it work. I'll tell you what happened is I did all of this and then we had lunch and we had a grocery delivery and all of that stuff. So what I thought I had fresh in my mind is definitely no longer fresh in this mind. Let's see if these are going to be about the same. Close enough. If you don't have one of these cutters, I think they're like $12 or $14 at Walmart, and they sure do make cutting things a whole lot faster. Now let's see if we can guess about how much extra is on here. Maybe like 1/4 of an inch. See if we can make it close to the same. As you can see, I don't care about perfection. In a lot of things in my life, I am a perfectionist, but when it comes to crafting, I am not. I have let that go. Especially making journals, you want them to be unique. That is right about half, isn't it? No, these will be more narrow, but like I said, we need some more narrow anyway, because when you fold up a bunch of pages together, the ones that are on the inside stick out more than the ones that are on the outside wrapped around a bunch of layers. So it'll be fine. We'll put these on the inside. I'm going to fold this one in half, and then I'm just going to use it as a guide when I cut this. See if I can cut this many layers at once. I do have a new blade in here, so hopefully it will. Let's see. That's the same. Okay, I guess I figured out. I guess I did it right. Let's get not too many at once because I want a clean cut. Let's get this back over here. Line it back up. I don't know how many pages I'm going to put in here. Okay, these are a little bit more narrow, but they're not that much of a difference to matter. It's easier kind of to make a line than it is to stick this in there. What have you guys been up to? What crafts have you been working on? I know several of my friends here are junk journalers. Several of them are crafty in other ways, and some of y'all just like to watch other people craft. Which one of those groups are you in? Alright, I think that's going to be enough pages. I haven't yet decided how I'm going to bind these. I originally thought that I would just use a stapler and staple through all of it. It would have worked for me, but I don't think I'm going to be able to staple through anything that thick. I just have a little bitty cheesy stapler. Let me find my little, whatever you call this thing. Is this a whole lot smaller than my other one? All that matters to me is that this would fit on it. And it will. There's still plenty of space. It's going to be kind of a long, thin book. See if I can fold more than one at a time. Folding pages is my least favorite out of the whole journal making process. I think that's why at Christmas time I bought a lot of blank journals and just decorated the covers. Then it didn't include making pages. This is probably going to end up being a long video. You're welcome to click off if it's not for you, obviously. Fast forward or just hang out for the long haul. I'm not in a hurry. I think it's about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. My son and I are finished with homeschool. We're finished with all of our errands for the day. And we are ready just to have some chill time. He's in his room building some Legos. Now, you see how much thicker this one is? I'm just gonna move it some to the outside. And then it's even. We may end up having to trim some of these too. I'm gonna see if I can fold several at once. The issue with doing that is that you do end up, like this side is long and this side is shorter, but that's okay. That is a-okay. I think I have too many pages for this little bitty journal. I'm trying really hard to think of how else I could bind it. I could poke holes and just kind of sew the insert in. I could just simply tie them in with a string going all the way, you know, with just a string wrapping around here and then tying on the outer. I'm just not sure yet. I'm gonna have a hard time poking holes through this many layers. This isn't even that many pages yet, but these are thick. It's very thick. And I would potentially like to have all of these pages in there, even if it's really, really thick. Or we could tie in two inserts. Well, we could tie in as many inserts as we want. We can put them side by side like this in the journal. Then we'll still have a lot of pages, but it won't be as thickly tied together. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing yet, but that's the fun of it, I guess. If it is too many pages, I'll leave some out, or I'll make another little mini journal. Jackson might like to have a little journal. He doesn't journal in the same aspect I journal in, but he definitely has fun with all of his bajillion journals that he owns. He's a list maker. He likes to make lists in there. He's been making profile pages for his stuffed animals and his amiibos and all kinds of stuff. He is a list maker through and through. Part of his homeschool assignment today was to look at the letter I wrote him that told how we, it was a letter that I had to write to him that said what I was like at his age, like how I was when I was 11. And so his part today was to write a letter to me telling me how we were similar and how we were different at his age. And an assignment like that is very, very hard for him. He was kind of lost and had a little bit of a shutdown and didn't know how to proceed. So I said, you know what? You're a list maker. Make it into a list. Make 3 ways that we're alike and 3 ways that we're different. And there he went, took off and got it done. It just made sense to him that way. Did you guys journal a lot for the holidays? I have so many Christmas things in here that I saved. I just kind of am upset at myself for not using any of them, but we had weeks worth of company, and then we had, you know, different holiday things going on, and we just had so much going on, and I had to roll my whole cart out of here and put it away, so it wasn't even easily accessible, and I was in burnout after Christmas. It took me a long time to recover. All right, I'm not going to count these, but I'm going to try to kind of divide them up equally. We're going to have to make at least two different inserts. That looks about the same. Look at that. It's going to be so cool. I hope you can see. I hope it's light enough. Actually, okay, I turned my exposure up a lot. That might make it brighter for you to see. It might make a big glare on the table, but hopefully you can see. All right, I don't know which leather I want either. Let's look at some of this leather together. This one, I was digging through it earlier. This one is really soft and I love the back on it. I don't know if you can see it, but it has a really thick, like a suede back on it. And the front is smooth, but it is so soft and flexible. I like this one, so this might be what we use. I like this one better. I like the crinkle look of it, and the back of it is even more suede, really, really thick suede. But this leather itself is really thick, which might still work for these, since I'm not gonna try to punch any holes in it. It might still work. I was thinking that this would be too thick to be pliable, but it might be more durable actually. Like if we have both sets of these in here. And we potentially have to tie 2 different strings in. This might be our best bet. And I have a little piece of leather strip here that I can tie the whole journal shut with, because I don't really have a way to make it close. I don't have a way to put a snap or something on it. This might work, and it's already a small scrap, so I can just trim it up. I'm hoping my scissors will cut this. I haven't ever cut leather before that I can remember. Actually, I guess we did. We used some of these scraps and we made bookmarks with them before, so we have cut them. So maybe this will be the one. This leather, first of all, this kind of leather needs to be stained or something, at least oiled, and it's very, very stiff, so we don't want to use that. There's also this piece, which is different than either one of these. It's very, very smooth. This is the lady we got all these scraps from. I think she does 2 things. She does upholstery, and I'm sure this is from like a chair or a couch or something. And she also does, I think she makes chaps and vests for bikers and cowboys and stuff here. But this one is really stiff. This almost looks like a heart. Just needs a little piece trimmed off of it. It's pretty cute. I'm thinking that this might be our best bet. So now, I think what I'm going to do, this leather makes a mess. I want it to be a little bit bigger than these, because I can trim it down, but I can't put any back on it, right? So I want to make it a little bit bigger than this. Let's see, let me lower you back down here. I'm thinking maybe leave like, what is that, 1/4 of an inch maybe on each side. See if I can make myself a line somehow. And then it will need to be, we'll do the length in a minute. Let's get it like this first. Let's see. I think if I line up a measurement line, it'll be straight. If you see like where the inch line is here, any of these lines, if I can find one straight across from it and line the leather up that way, then I think I'll be level or even, if that makes sense. Let's start on the 0 line. Scoot it over a little bit. Okay. Potentially that should be straight. It looks crooked to me. It looks really crooked to me. Am I doing this right? Am I overthinking it or not thinking it enough? That looks better because it looks spaced about even here to here, I think. Let's just go for it. I think I have a marker here. And like we said before, what is the worst thing that can go wrong? We mess up and we cut it again. I'll make something else out of this, a bookmark or something. Where are my scissors? These are the worst scissors I own. Hopefully I can cut with them. I gotta take my glasses off to cut. Bifocals just aren't bifocaling for me lately. I wonder, I don't think this will cut it. It's a razor blade, I don't know. Should we give it a whirl and see? I want to cut right inside the line so the line won't show. Do you think this will cut it if we can hold it down really, really hard? Well, it did. No, that's where I have it cut, right? Wow, look at that. Yeah, nice, very nice. Let's see if they're the same. They're pretty even, not too bad, not enough to matter. All right, let's see, we could potentially just put one of these in here, but I would like to cut them both. So if we could tie them both in. That's really thick. I don't know. We'll have to see, won't we? Do I want it just long enough to cover these? Do I want it like this long and tie it shut? Or do I actually want to make it to where it could fold over and maybe eventually I could put a snap on it? That would be kind of cool if it stayed like this. But I also have to remember that it's going to get very, very fat when it gets full of stuff. But it would be quite flexible like this if we just wrapped a piece of leather around it and tied it. That is pretty cool, no? I do think I have a lot of extra space on this side. This side is covering it nicely, but I think I could cut some more off. The problem is, this is not very good at cutting just a little bit off. It's much better at cutting a big piece off. So I could either try to line these up better in the middle. I think that's going to be better than actually trying to cut it. I think it's just going to have to be that wide. I kind of like this look on it. The only thing that I might trim, if I can cut it with my scissors, I might have to find different scissors. I think just the very edge over here is a little bit too wide. Well, it's really not. That's more my imagination. Okay, how are we going to go about this? Oh, you know what? Actually, since I do have it this wide, I can hole punch a little hole up here and a little hole down here to tie these in with. I think I'm going to do that. I think I want to get these. I'm going to need 2 holes. Right? Would I be better off to make these into 3? They are really, really fat. I have space to put 3 holes. I wish I could have your real input here. I think I might try that. Like I said before, if I mess it up, I mess it up. You know, I'm not going to stress it. I'll figure out a way to make it work, or I'll cut another piece. I like this piece though, so I want to do my best at it. Okay, I think that would be good. Let me get my marker. Do I want to use marker? My pen didn't write on it. I need a marker with a finer tip on it. Or we could just do this. Let me put it on this and just punch the holes. How about that? How about that? See if I can turn where you can see what I'm doing. And put this under it so I can poke all the way through. Actually, that's kind of a nice scrap. Let's put this under it because I'm never going to use this stuff, I don't think. All right, let's line it up to the best of our ability here, even on both sides. Enough to cover this and then some. Let's go a little bit more like this, because this is going to get fatter and fatter. All right, I'm just going to go for it. There are 3. I don't know what these are called in the journal world. I think they're called sets. Are they? I'm just going to kind of guess that we're going to need to tie one here, one here. I don't think they have to be perfect, and one here. And then if I can turn it around, hopefully I can open or turn this leather over and see my holes. One here, one here, and one here. And I don't know what I'm going to tie it with. I wish I had a rubber band so I could hold these together. Let's see what I have going on in here. This is not going to work. I think I know an easier way. I'm trying to hold these together. This is stretchy, so let me see if I can make a rubber band with it. Oh, my arthritis in my hands is so bad anymore. They hurt all the time, especially my thumbs, but doing anything. And I've already helped Jackson lace up a leather keychain earlier, so my hands hurt. All right, that works. Just to keep them together. That looks kind of cool just like that, doesn't it? Here is the test. Take my glasses off, see if I can find the holes. Oh, there they are. All right, let me see if I can show this to you. Can you see the holes right here? You can see them a little bit over here because you can see the light go through them. It's easier to see right here. So let's just see if we can make the holes big enough to get something through. Leather's easier to work with if you wet it, but I don't really want to. And I'm definitely not an expert on leather, don't think I am. All we've done is play with these scraps. We have some little leather stamp punch things, and we have the alphabet. So I think I'm going to punch a J on it before I actually bind it all up together. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Which way did I poke this? Did I go this way? No, I went this way. Let's go this way though, so they stick in instead of stick out. All right, I'm just finding the hole and kind of putting it between my fingers and just kind of going back and forth with this. This is called, I think, an awl, A-W-L. I do the same thing when I turn old books into journals. I redo the spine and then I poke holes like this to tie the little sets of pages in. There we go, we have 3 holes. They're not even at all, but they're okay. as long as they don't like poke into each other. Or, you know what I mean, tear into each other. I'm trying not to make them huge, but I need them big enough that we can get some string through. I do have a little needle that we can pull string through with. I'll show you the choices in a minute of what we have that we can tie them in with. Ooh, I made that one a little bit big. But the one thing about leather, or even the books when you do it, is they kind of close up a little bit afterwards. I think this is my third hole. Not 100% sure. All right, it is looking like this now. So, we have the hard parts done. The hard part, honestly, the most time-consuming part is making the pages, honestly. Okay, we could tie it with some twine, which I think would look pretty cool and rustic, and it's easy to get a good tie on it. We could tie it with any of these, but these are all stretchy, and I have made one journal with stretchy before, and I hated working in it. The pages never wanted to stay in place. We could use some of this string, which is easier to work with because it's thin. See, oh, these are stretchy too. I have a different one that's not stretchy. Here they are. This is a craft cord. It's not stretchy at all, and it's thin enough to get through the holes easier, but the downfall I noticed with this is when you tie it tight, it kind of tries to cut into your pages. So I kind of think I'm gonna stick to the twine. The nice thing about this is you can tie it little and it's not in your way. I could even tie it inside the pages to where nothing shows on the outside. So there are two ways to tie this. You can tie the pages this way, and you can have like little knots out here, which is nice if you want to add some beads or something like that. Or you can tie them going in and tie them in between the middle of each set of pages, which is fine too. They easily close over. I mean, you can cut this off. Let me think what I want to do. If we're going to close it like this, then I'm not going to want to have knots out here. I think I'm going to try to tie these inside, which I've only made one other journal tied on the inside, because usually I tie my journals on the outside so that I can hang some beads and hang some fun stuff. But this one's going to be a little bit different. The accent of this one is actually going to be this stuff, and I could easily tie a bead or, you know, a couple of beads or something on here. I need to take this leather needle off of here before we lose it. This was our first time to ever use a leather needle. Let me put this away with my other needles here. Let me find one of my needles so we can get to tying these in. These drawers need organized so desperately. I know the needle's in here somewhere. Somewhere in here with all this stuff. Before I had a needle, I used a bread tie. It did not work very well, but it made lots of journals. Well, I don't know where the one is already out, but here's the package. Let's just get us another one out. These are, they say they're for tapestry, but they work good for any larger thread. They have a big eye on them, and then they're not too thick. They're thinner than the awl. So let's see, let's try one, and if we don't like it, we can put it back. Or we can take it off and try something else. Leather, leather, leather pieces everywhere. Let's see, let's do the middle one first. And I'm gonna take the thickest one out. One of these is thinner than the others, or more narrow. This one looks a little bit thicker. I'm just gonna put it in the middle. We're not gonna overthink this. I tend to be an overthinker. So we want this here. If we're gonna tie it on the inside, let's see. Do I wanna use this? I think I like the look of this better. Let's see if I can get this through my needle. I learned a trick to threading a needle too, especially when you're using something like this. Let me cut a piece of this. Because this unravels. If you're trying to use something like this or something like a ribbon, this is the trick I've learned. You first put just anything that you can get through. Like this stuff doesn't have a frayed edge. It's going to be fairly easy to get through my needle. Do the old sewer trick where you wet it just a little bit. Then, oh, come on fingers, you can do this. Okay, this is unraveling too, but I think I got it enough to work for this. Okay, so I've put it through the needle with a loop. Now I'm going to take what I actually want to go through the needle and stick it in this loop like this, and then I'm going to pull it all through the needle. This is very thick for this little needle, but I think I can get it. Maybe. Ouch. Could you see me pulling my own tooth out like that? Well, it works with ribbon because ribbon lays flat. All right, that is going to be a no-go. We're just going to have to try to get this through here without unraveling too much of it. That's the problem with twine. See, it's going halfway in, but then it unravels. So half of it's in and half of it's out. Come on, go in. No, I'm gonna have to start over. Maybe if we bend it in half, we can get it through. I said the pages always take the longest. Possibly getting your twine and the needle takes the longest. All right, I got it in there now. Let me trim this off. I do have more twine than this. This is just a leftover piece that was in there. All right, we are going to go from the outside in. This is going to be the middle one. So I'm going to go to the middle. So on the outside edge of this, it'll be flat. We won't have anything tied. It'll look like this 3 times, which still gives it a pretty cool look with the twine against the leather. Kind of a rustic look. All right, I'm gonna leave this long. And I'm gonna leave my needle threaded in here because I should have enough here to do this again without rethreading my needle. Wouldn't it be nice if I had enough for all of them? Am I on the third and the third? I am. It looks crooked, but you know, what did we say? We're not going for perfection here. All we're gonna do with this, let me cut a piece of this off. All we're gonna do with this is tie it, and we're gonna try to get it tight. An extra hand would be great, but I don't have another person here. Just gonna go for the good old double knot. There we go, the first set is in. I will trim these off. You can see the pages aren't going anywhere. You could take them out if you wanted to, or you could potentially add a few more in there, but it's tied fairly tight. My knot should last, it shouldn't come undone. All right, set number 1 is in. Let's get the other ones in. Let's do the back one next. Take our needle in this way. And out this way. Just the opposite of what you would want to do if you wanted your ties on the outside. I bet I won't have to thread this needle again. I bet I actually have enough here. Hooray for that. Alright, let's get another one of these out. I don't really guess it matters. They kind of look about the same. Put it in like this. Can you see what I'm doing here? Like I said, the hardest part of this is getting your knot to stay down really tight. This is where I messed up with the stretchy string. All right, it's not perfect, but it's not loose enough that they're gonna come out of there. Set number 2 in. What I'll do tonight is I will put something really tight around this. Well, I guess it'll just stay tied shut. One more. I wish I had a snap kit. I don't think my mom has one either. I think I had asked her before. I would love to put a snap on here to snap the cover shut. But then again, that actually might not work because, as you know, when you have a journal, this journal used to be flat. It used to be no wider than this. And the more stuff I've put in it, you can see I've only done probably 20 pages here, and it's already this fat. By the time I'm finished with this journal, it's going to be huge. Hopefully I don't break the binding on it. So for that reason, I probably don't want to snap this because the snap would need to be adjustable. Last one. I better not lose that needle. That'll be about my luck. I'm going to turn it this way. You might not be able to see me as well, but you kind of have the idea by now of what I'm doing. These ones are trying to move on me. I'm so excited for this. What do you guys think about it? Would you like to have a small leather journal? It wouldn't have to be leather. You could make it with anything. You like the idea of a mini journal for just little bitty small projects? Little bitty snippets. I saw other people that were kind of doing like a square a day. I think they called it a scrap a day for a whole month, where they would have like 30 days of a square, like a square of a scrap every single day of these, but they had them all lined up on one page. So I think it'll be neat too. It might take a little bit of time. It might take a little bit of stretching for this twine to stretch out a little bit. But here's how it is right now. I do have them tied pretty tight, but it will stretch, I think. And this will wrap around, and then we'll tie it shut. I think that's just pretty freaking cool. It may take time, what I was saying, for these to stretch out enough to really, really work the pages, to be able to open these pages. But I have page clamps that I use anyway when I journal, which look like this. Like I can open it to this page and hold down on this page so that I can work here. So I can be patient while it loosens up. The leather's gonna get looser, and I'm pretty sure the twine's gonna get looser. But there we have it. There we have it. And if I wanted to, I could trim these off and just have it closed just a little bit. I think, you know, I might trim this a little bit so that the spine shows. I'm not decided yet though. I kind of like how it looks, almost like a little pouch or a little purse. I also wish my little leather piece here was a different color. I might dig through this bag and see if there's a different one. But we could also just tie it just with something like this. Look at that. That is so cool. I might just use this for now. Could even make a little bow out of it, possibly. If my fingers will cooperate. Well, you get the idea. You get the idea anyway. What do you think? I love it. I think it's super, super cute. Tune in next time and we'll do a couple of pages together in it. See if I can get it to loosen up, and I'll figure out for sure what I want to make the outside binding with. Even some more twine would be cute. I could just tie it. But I think this works for now, and it's nice and stretchy. There's how the inside looks. I'll give you one more look at the pages. One more look at the spine. One more look at the pages. I guess, of course, we better... oh, sorry. I told you I'm not doing much editing here. I guess we better do some kind of a picture for the thumbnail. So we can either do something like this, or we can do something like this, or we can do something like this. Boy, I have a mess down here. See if I can turn my bow back around. Do a thumbnail like this, or any one of those. Anything else from this. Thank you for watching. Thank you for hanging out. Let me know in the comments below what you want to see next. Let me know if you enjoy long videos like this without much editing, just hanging out together. And join me next time and we will make some pages. We'll create some pages in here, along with some pages in my other journals. I really do want to get going back on these. I have a traveling journal that I need to put a few things in. I think on this journal, I last left off making some color pages, and I think I only made 3 colors. I think I made blue, orange, and purple. I saved a lot of things to make. I know for sure red, and I think green. So I will see you next time. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.